Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about, my name's Chrissy. The topic of today's video is going to be the 12 authentic Colorado ghost towns here in Denver, Colorado. The first one would be the Ashkoff, Colorado, and that at its peak, it was a bustling silver mine just because of during the time of mining silver and gold. But it was started in 1880, and it came to home to over 1,200 people and 20 saloons. However, the town went bust 5 years later after depleting the shallow silver deposits, and then soon later that the town was abandoned. Residents moved 10 miles down the road to Aspen, Colorado. By the way, gorgeous place. There's over a dozen original buildings still standing present, including the jail, the livery stables, and a hotel and some few saloons if you want to go and see there and see the possible haunting. The next one would be Ammonus Forks, and that in 1873 it was discovered. It had deep deposits of gold. Between 400 to 1,000 people called this town home, and that weather conditions proved extremely harsh, as the Ammonus Forks is located at 11,160 feet in elevation, and summertime is really honestly recommended visiting just because majority of the time we do get harsh winters here. And that you can reach the town via four-wheeler drive, RTV, or an RTV, which you can rent from Lake City or Silverton. The next one would be Bloxville, Colorado, just because of how it's considered a ghost town. And that in 1862, Thomas Boggs founded Bloxville. He had high hopes of adding a railroad to the booming town. However, that was never more than a few dozen residents, and the town passed up for a railroad. Instead, Bloxville was a center of trade, agriculture, and education. And it was also a critical wagon stop along the Santa Fe Trail, just because Bloxville was also the last home to farm the Kit Carson, and this town offers free admission as well as a customized and self-guided tours. The fourth one is Carson and Old Carson, which is located 12,000 feet along the Continental Divide, but neither town stood the test of time, as the harsh winters, which I stated beforehand, is the main reason for the bust of both towns. And that Carson is the east side of the divide and can be reached from Lake City from the longer Gulch Trail via 4x4 bike or hike, and then head west to discover the Old Town Carson, gorgeous place to visit. And that Deerfield, Colorado was the only all black African American settlement in the early 1900s. It's located east of Greeley, with over 700 African Americans calling this town home as part of the national African American colonization movement after the the Civil War, which pushed for self-sufficiency and land ownership for African Americans. However, the town was unable to survive from the Great Depression of the 1930s and the Dust Bowl years, and there's only 3 buildings that do remain, including a gas station, a diner, and the founder's home. You can visit it by driving east Colorado 34 from Greeley for about 25 miles, and then you see you will see a marked sign directing you from there to get there. The next is Independence, Colorado. It was formed after the gold was discovered in the early 1880s. Independence, Colorado was established at the head of the Roaring Fork River, 2 miles past the summit, as well as left the towns. In 1889, miners did abandon the town on wood skis made from the log cabins, and the Aspen Historical Society does offer tours. The next one is Monsoon, Colorado. It's located above Keystone Resort and was founded in 1865 after silver deposits were discovered. At its peak, 1,000 people called Monsoon home. The only thing that remains of it now is a general store, schoolhouse, and a few private homes. And honestly, the next one would be St. Elm and Teacup. It's just west of Buena Vista, which is like it's easy accessible ghost town in Colorado. Established in 1878, St. Elmo's economy relied on mining, but also freight, if I'm saying that right. And now the only wooden storefront and a dusty main street just remains of the Tin Cup. And you can also rent HOVs at the general store to visit the neighboring ghost town of Tin Cup. The 10th one is Tomboy, Colorado, located in Turlide, and below Emon Pass is the ghost town of Tomboy. Before Tomboy mine ran dry, 900 people called this place home. The summer times are the best just because of the elevation. And you can see the social trail, which is where women and miners would meet for social time. There are many tours available. Tyler City is also a true ghost town in Colorado just because it was established after silver was discovered. In 20 years' time, the town was boomed with hundreds of log cabins and 30 saloons. Now there's a few cabins and artificial remains, and you can still get panned for gold in the nearby streams. Get some extra money, you know. Number 12 was Uptown, Colorado. West of the La Vita, you find the ghostly but not deserted Uptown. In 1977, a railroad deposit was built. Now the deposit is a museum, a chapel, tavern, quilt museum, and dance hall remain, and you can still rent from there. And that's the 12 ghost towns of Colorado. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to hit that subscribe button below.